There are moments in life when it feels like the world is louder than it's ever been. Voices arguing, people rushing, kindness feeling rare.
Moments when you look around and wonder, how did things get this broken?
The story of Noah begins in a world like that. Not perfect. A world filled with noise, corruption, and violence. A world where doing what was right had become the exception, not the rule. In the midst of the chaos, we see a clay figure of Noah, distinguished by his gentle expression, simple robes, and peaceful demeanor. He walks calmly through the chaos, unaffected by the turmoil around him. Kind eyes, weathered hands, humble clothing. And in the middle of all that chaos, there was one man quietly walking a different path. His name was Noah. The Bible doesn't say Noah was famous. It doesn't say he was powerful or wealthy. It simply says that Noah walked with God. That line is easy to pass over, but it means something deep. It means Noah chose faith when others chose convenience. He chose integrity when shortcuts were easier. He listened when no one else seemed to care. And because of that, Noah noticed something others ignored. The world was heading toward a storm. One day, God spoke to Noah with a warning and a plan. The earth, God said, was filled with violence and corruption. What had been created to be good had become broken beyond repair. Noah's perspective as he envisions the coming flood. Claymation water rising over clay landscapes, covering buildings and trees. The vision is both beautiful and terrifying, with deep blue clay water flowing over everything. A flood was coming. Not a light rain, not a passing storm, but waters that would cover the earth. And then came the instruction that must have sounded impossible. Build an ark. A massive ship, longer than a football field, wide, tall. A vessel big enough to carry Noah's family and pairs of every living creature. All of it built on dry land. Try to imagine that moment. No weather forecast. No sign of rain. No proof, only trust. Noah could have laughed it off. He could have argued.
He could have said, "This doesn't make sense."
But Noah didn't need to understand everything. He needed to obey. So he began to build. Day after day, Noah worked. Hammering wood under a clear sky. Measuring beams while people passed by. Questions followed him everywhere. Clay townspeople gathering around the construction site, pointing and laughing. Their expressions showed disbelief and mockery. Noah continues working, unaffected by their reactions. The contrast between his peaceful determination and their ridicule is clear. What are you building? Why are you wasting your time? Where's this flood you keep talking about? Some mocked him. Some shook their heads. Others laughed. But Noah kept building. Faith often looks foolish before the storm arrives. And obedience is rarely applauded in the moment. It's tested in silence. There are times in our own lives when we're building something no one else understands. Choosing patience. Choosing honesty. Choosing peace while the world chooses noise. And it can feel lonely. But Noah reminds us, you don't need approval when you have purpose. Then something strange began to happen. Animals started to come from every direction, 2 by 2. Creatures Noah didn't chase, didn't trap, didn't force. They came because God called them. And suddenly the laughter stopped. Something was changing. Then one day, the rain began. Not all at once. At first, just drops. The clay ground cracks open. Water bursts forth. The sky opens with torrential clay rain. Noah and his family enter the ark as the massive clay doors close. The townspeople run for shelter as water rises around them. The ground split open. The sky poured down water. What had been mocked was now undeniable. God told Noah to enter the ark. The doors closed, and the storm took over. Inside the ark, it wasn't quiet. Animals moved. Wood creaked. The ship swayed as waves crashed against it. Outside, destruction. Inside, safety. Not comfort, but protection. God didn't stop the storm. He provided shelter within it. That's something many of us struggle with. We want the storm removed, the pain fixed immediately, the fear taken away. But sometimes, peace doesn't come from the storm ending. It comes from knowing you're being held through it. The rain lasted 40 days and 40 nights. But even after it stopped, the waiting continued. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Noah releasing a clay dove from the ark window. First, it returns with nothing, then later with a small olive branch in its beak. Noah's face shows growing hope. Noah sent out a raven, then a dove. The first time, the dove returned. No place to land. Still waiting. The second time, the dove came back with an olive leaf. A small sign. Life was returning. Hope was growing. The Bible says something beautiful here. It says God remembered Noah. Not because God had forgotten, but because the time of renewal had come. The waters slowly receded. The ark rested on the mountains. Still, Noah waited. Because leaving too early can be just as dangerous as not preparing at all. Finally, God told Noah it was time. The doors opened. Fresh air filled the ark. Sunlight touched the ground. Noah stepped out, not into the same world he left, but into a renewed one. The storm had changed everything. A beautiful claymation rainbow appears in the sky above Noah and his family. They look up in wonder. The colors are vibrant against the clay landscape, representing God's promise. And then God placed a rainbow in the sky. Not that storms would never come again, but that they would not destroy everything. A reminder of mercy. Noah's story isn't just about a flood. It's about trust when the future feels uncertain. Obedience when the crowd disagrees. Peace when everything feels unstable. We all face storms. Some quiet. Some that last longer than we expect. And sometimes, the greatest peace isn't found in escaping the storm, but in knowing you're safe while it passes. Just like Noah.